Last episode, I crammed a whole load of farms into a giant barn, got attacked by a swarm of bees, and lost my Create backpack.
It's all gone. All of it's gone. Bye-bye. Woo, see ya.
So the first thing to do today is going to be to get that replaced. But following that, we're going to continue with this farming area by adding pretty much all of the other crops. I mean, we've got wheat, lots and lots of wheat, but that's about it regarding the crops, and we can't really have a farming district without many crops. So that's definitely going to be our main aim today, which is going to involve a bit of a change of plans on the layout of this area as well, but we'll get to that later. First up, I really do need to replace that backpack. Not only have I lost the backpack, I have of course lost everything that was inside it, which is everything I have to do with Create components. It's all gone. All of it. So I'm pretty sad right now, and I wish to fix that situation. And while we're here, I think I'm actually going to make more than one backpack, because there's something else I want to do as well. Something I've actually been meaning to do for a while. Sort of a third backpack that I want to carry around with me, so I may as well do that now. So first up, let's make a couple of these, and then we'll get these upgraded. So we need iron, we need gold, we need diamonds, and then we need netherite. I could have sworn I had some netherite, but apparently not. So, well, I guess that means we're going to have to go to the nether, and we're going to have to do a bit of mining. But our nether drill is actually pretty bad, so maybe I should take the overworld drill? Let me quickly check, but I'm pretty sure we've got this set to being extremely wide right now. Yeah, look at the size of that. Absolutely massive. We can destroy the nether with this thing. And if we're clever about placement, we can probably even avoid lava hitting this and destroying it. But I guess while we're here, we should probably make sure it's empty first, because I'm fairly sure, yep, it's still got loads of stuff in it. So we're going to let that empty itself out, and let's get these backpacks upgraded as far as we can. So let's start off just by making a bunch of these. And I guess what we can do is actually work on the second backpack for now, and actually just make the upgrades for that one. Because if we have a look at these upgrades here, since the last update, we've actually got these new ones, and these are for all of the workbenches, which we've basically got here, and we've got some on the airship, but it'll be really handy to actually have some of these on my back. And to be honest, they look fairly straightforward to make. We just kind of need one of each workbench. If I remember correctly, we've actually got some that we've never really used since the start of the game. I can't remember if they're still in there, or if we moved them. I think we might have moved them underground down there. Let's have a look. Yep, they're not in here. Aha, but they are down here. So if we just grab all of these, we can repurpose them. So let's just get all of these made up. Now, even when this is netherite, it's only going to give us 2 more slots, which isn't really going to be enough for all of these. But my thinking is we'll just store these in the backpack, and then we can just swap them out as we need them. Because there's other upgrades we want to make sure all the bags have got. So we want to make sure that they both definitely have a crafting table upgrade. Want a stone cutter upgrade for one of these backpacks as well. And other than that, we pretty much just want lots of these. The stack upgrades. So we can do copper, then we can do iron, gold, diamonds, and oh, the netherite one's expensive. Jeez. Yeah, we're probably not going to do that unless the nether mining goes incredibly well, which it probably won't because it never does. So I think that's about as far as we can get with these backpacks for now. We just need to go do some mining. So yeah, let's grab this and head to the nether. Looks like it's empty. Quite a few piggos around here, but my thinking is we can just set up in one of these tunnels here and basically send the drill down. And that way the lava's not going to be a problem because of course we've already cleared it out, but we're going to be carving up lots of the nether. And the good thing is we've actually got quite a few different paths we can take. So yeah, we should be able to do pretty well down here. I think I'm just going to start here. There we go. Look at it go. We'll know when it's getting ancient debris because it will take ages to actually move forward. Well, I guess it's time to play that funky tune. You know the one. No. Ah! Oh, what in the world is that thing? What is that? Half an hour in the mines and I've managed to get myself 116 ancient debris, which is plenty. I only needed 8. But we also got thousands of basalt and blackstone and hundreds of thousands of netherrack. We've actually got multiple boxes of that now. So yeah, quite successful, I'd say. So let's get all this cooked up and make ourselves some netherite backpacks. And a couple of hours later, I think I finally have everything prepared. That took forever. And by everything, I mean I've made a start. So this is our normal backpack, our sort of dumping ground for things when we're working. This is our brand new Create backpack, which as you can see, see, I have started to fill up with some stuff. I've done lots of crafting, but then I got bored. So yeah, we're just going to store the rest in here as and when we get it, I guess. That seems like the best approach. Otherwise, I'm going to be here for another day. And our new backpack is this one, which has just got lots of the base resources in. We've got wood, we've got stone and dirt and stuff. We've got some shinies and, of course, some framed blocks. But we've also got these, which are all of the workbenches and the upgrade tables. So we can just swap those out as we need them, and it means we don't have to keep going back to the airship, which is going to be nice. As much as I love the airship, you can't go wrong with a bit more convenience. So this one's going to live on our back, and these two are just going to live down here. And now that's done, we can finally actually make a start on the episode. Let's head back to the farm, which, by the way, doesn't have a name yet. So if you do have an idea for a farm name, then do let me know in the comments. You know the drill. And, of course, the best one will get put on the farm. And, in fact, this whole area is going to need a name at some point in future, but it'll probably make sense to wait until we've got a bit more built up. So that will probably inspire the name. At least that's my thinking. We'll have to see what happens. Anyway, right, plans, farms. Let's go have a look at our board. I'm just going to make sure all the scarecrows are in the field. They are. Good. Not falling for that again. So last episode, we tackled loads of this stuff, and I didn't bring my red dye with me, but that's fine. We can just use the white one. So we've done that, we've done that, we've done that, we've done chicken and eggs, we've done wool. So yeah, only a little bit left on this side. And of course, fish. We don't actually need to build a farm. We just need to import that. So today, we're going to be tackling as many of these things as possible. I don't know how far down the list we're going to get, but I've got an idea of how we can do a lot of these bits. But it does involve changing our plans for the town and where the town was going to go. Partly because the pigs have munched their way through 18,000 carrots since last episode, so we definitely need to make sure we're producing lots of those. But also, we're going to need quite a lot of these other things anyway. So yeah, we're going to go quite big with this, I think. Not as big as the wheat field, because that thing's ridiculous, but we are going to go big. So instead of having the town over here opposite the farm like we were going to, and having a canal and so on, I'm actually going to be turning this into another part of the farm, I guess. But it's not going to be open fields. I've actually got a different idea, and we're going to try something out. And hopefully, this is going to work. And the good thing is, thanks to our new bag, I think I've pretty much got everything on me that we're going to need, at least to make a start. Now, let's think about this. I think the main issue we're going to have is currently the bus. So, the first thing I want to do is actually just to remove all the rail that we know is here. If I hold that in my offhand, I can see what I'm doing. So let's just get rid of all of this for now. And to be honest, I should probably dig up and replace this road again as well. Ugh, jeez. And there we go, we're back to a blank canvas again. What a waste of time that was. Now, I think the first thing I want to do is just mark off roughly an area. We kind of want all this fenced off as well, so maybe about here would work. And what we're going to do is build a giant greenhouse, or at least that's what we're going to try to do. And if it works, the idea would be that we'd actually have lots and lots of them over here, but yeah, let's just try and build one first and see how we get on. So I guess we're going to start with a frame. Let's see what we can do. Maybe an archway like that would work, and if we have like a long sort of tunnel version of this, that could pan out, maybe. Ideally, what I need to do is get some glass, and I didn't actually bring any of that with me because I don't know what glass I want to use yet. Let's go and have a ganders. So looking at my wall of glass, I think I actually want to use this style, the vertical stiped ones. So, gonna need a lot more than that. So let's just grab loads of glass. We'll add that as something we keep stored in our bag up here. And I reckon if we use the combination of white and light grey, that should balance quite well. Because I want the glass going right down to the bottom, though, I guess we should probably replace these blocks as well. Otherwise, it's gonna look horrible. I have no idea how long we want this yet. Maybe about that sort of size. And then if we need to, we've got space. We can actually put some on the other side as well. Maybe even a little road down the middle. That could look good. Let's get some of this glass in first and see how we're looking. Well, I think that glass works quite well, actually. I like that. Let's maybe try and get some form of an entrance in. In fact, I'm going to need to put some more wood down. And I reckon if we remove that, yeah, look at that. We can still get it squared off, and it should sit nicely behind the pillars. Yep, the glass fits nicely in there. The question is, what do I do about the entrance here? Now, I've got an idea. I wonder if we can use framed blocks and get some kind of door frame in here, maybe? Well, it's going to take a bit of jiggery-pokery, I think. So we can use wall slabs up there. We can use normal slabs there. And I think if we can get this block in the right position, something like that, and same there. Is that going to look good? Yeah, perfect. And then if we just mix in some of these sort of light grey bits of glass as well, it should make some of the windows look a little bit dirty. I mean, it's quite subtle, but I like it. And we can replace some of the ones on the roof here as well, just by utilising the hammer. Though I'll tell you what, on looking at the roof, I do feel like maybe it could do with a little bit more structure. I wonder, maybe we should sort of put a beam in across the top here. Yeah, that feels a bit better. Now I just need to do this 2 more times. I'll see you in a minute. Well, I think that's going to work quite nicely. It doesn't actually look that big when you sort of compare it to the rest of the farm and so on, but yeah, we're definitely going to need more of them. So once we get a bunch of these in theory, that should look quite nice. But before we do that, I want to make sure my idea is going to work. So here comes the fun bit. So I need to grab myself a bunch of pipes, some of those, and we're going to be trying to make use of these sprinklers. Not entirely sure how they work, but I've got a rough idea. I mean, it's called a sprinkler, so let's just figure out exactly where I want these. Maybe here. We put a pipe all the way across the greenhouse, and we'll just chuck a sprinkler there for now. But what I actually want to do is figure out how far these actually spread. So for now, let's get rid of that. We'll also create a quick little trough here and put an infinite water source in and stick a pump in there instead. We do also need power over here, so I'm thinking if I was to dig down here, then we can just get this linked all the way over to the power station. Just like that. There we go. And the sprinkler is doing its thing. Let's see how far it stretches. So if that's the middle, so normally if we were to use a proper water source, it would go 4 in each direction, but I doubt it's going to go that far. Let's see what it does. Well, it's taking its time, but it looks like it can go up to 3 blocks out, which is good. So in theory, it should be able to get all of this area. So just to make sure, if we were to leave a gap of 5 between each sprinkler, that should do us just fine. So we get that connected up, and look at that, they're all going. And now we need to do the same thing on this side. So what I want to do now, I guess, is just hoe all of the land, get the crops in and let them start growing, and then we're going to work out how to harvest them. And I think it makes sense for the first crop to be carrots, because that's what we really need right now for those pigs. And I'm hoping a quick look in our farm will give us enough. A tiny, tiny farm. Yeah, look at that. There's a few thousand there. That'll do. Let's get planting. Well, I have to say, I think that's looking pretty good. Good with a bit of decoration and some lights. But before we get to that, let's figure out the harvesters. And I think it's going to make more sense to put them at this end. So let's stick a row of 5 here and a row of 5 here. And to be honest, I don't really want to be using a gantry, because the problem with those is you can't really hide it. It needs to be exposed for the whole length of the farm, and I really don't want that. But not to worry, I have another plan that involves me digging up this entire pathway to begin with. Then we'll put a layer of spruce logs at the bottom of that new trench. And we're just going to have a minecart contraption going backwards and forwards. I think that's going to be the best thing to do here. It means I need lots of powered rail, which we'll get in the bottom there. And in fact, this first rail, I want this to be one of those directional ones. It means I need one of those. And stick that there. And that basically means that I can provide power to all of these and just have that as an independent one, so we can turn the farm on and off. So if we just use some levers here to power the rest of the rail, that looks to have got all of it. Marvelous. And we need a cart contraption. We need a minecart. And I want to make sure that we're locking rotation on this, otherwise accidents are going to happen. Although it does occur to me, if I want this whole thing hidden, I should probably actually lower it by another block. Otherwise, by the time we've got a block here to attach everything to, this is going to be a ground level. There we go, and now we've actually got some space to build up a frame. Although, I've only gone and forgotten to make girders. That is unacceptable. That's better. Right, so for these harvesters, let's just do something fairly simple. To be honest, that should do the trick. Let's just get all this glued together. Although, thinking about it, what I might actually do is connect them at the far side here, because ideally I kind of want to leave that gap as a proper gap. Because that way when the farm's not running, it's not going to destroy any blocks. Because, of course, when a contraption's going backwards and forwards, it can go through blocks and so on. But, yeah, as soon as I stop it, that's going to turn back into a solid block and destroy whatever's there. So, yeah, we'll just have, like, a small hole on each side of the farm. That's fine. So that should just about do it. Just stick a lever there for now, which we'll use as an on and off switch. Stick our minecart in there. Hopefully, that's going to get to work. Yeah, look at that. Wonderful. Now let's bring it back and attach some storage. So I reckon just a couple of barrels and an interface for offloading. That should just about do the job. Now we should also be able to get rid of this now. So in fact, it won't turn solid when it's not moving, but that's fine. We've sorted it now. If we get this path back in, then functionally this farm should be good. So we're pretty much there with the farm. I just want to make this a little bit more useful. So what we're going to do is use a redstone link. Set that to receive. For now, I'm just going to stick the on and off switch here. We'll find a permanent home for them later, because we'll probably have a central place where all of them are. But this will do for now. So this is where I start to miss my create backpack, because we haven't got any of the storage drawer things in here. Thankfully, we have loads of wood, so we can just make them. Oh, I should probably do it out of spruce, though, so they match. So we'll give these a home in our create backpack as well. We'll have the spruce drawers and the spruce trim. That tends to be our go-to. But we are also going to need some other things, such as comparators. I want to try and make sure that I'm remembering to give everything a home as we go. We're also going to need some of these, the draw controller slaves. So we're going to stick that there, the chute in the top, and then I just need to use the trim to link this up all the way back over there. That should just about do it. So this thing should stop here and offload now, and we should see carrots going through here. Oh no, wait a minute. I don't seem to be making it all the way back. Okay, not a problem. It just appears that maybe down there is a little bit too far away for it right now. But it doesn't look like I can make this stretch all the way over to our main farmhouse at the moment, but then that was only temporary storage anyway, so yeah, that's something we're going to have to sort out in future, find somewhere a bit more centralized for it. But for now, at least we know that the farm is working. Now I just need to finish off the interior, but that should only take a moment. And I think something simple like that should do nicely. I've just messed up the floor a little bit. We've added some chains and things to make everything actually attached to the ceiling. And of course, we've added some lights and boxes and water tanks and so on. But that looks pretty good. Carrot farm is done. So that's half of one of these boards done. How many more do we need? It's looking like we're going to need at least another 9 of these buildings. And even that's not going to do all of the farms in there, but some of them aren't really going to sit well in these buildings. But I think if we're going to end up with that many of these, it probably makes sense to make a schematic and use a schematic cannon. Otherwise, I'm going to be here all week. So I think we just want a schematic of the main part of the building. I'm not too concerned about copying the sort of harvester part of it because, well, that's not always going to be the same on these farms. Different crops are going to need different mechanisms after all, but as long as we capture the main structure, this should definitely speed things up. Just call that greenhouse. And then if we place this greenhouse maybe like 2-3 blocks away, 3 blocks away, out there maybe. Let's just get it lined up over here. I think that'll do the trick just nicely. We're going to have to fill in lots of the blocks ourselves, of course, but it's definitely going to speed things up. Let's find out what we need. So some of these things I'm going to tick off because we're going to ignore them. Pretty much just the barrels and the leaves by the looks of it. But considering how many of these we're going to be making, I should probably go stock up on a whole bunch more resources, and then we'll get this thing into action. About half an hour later, and I think I've got everything that I need. Let's just find out. So we don't care about those, don't care about those don't exist. We could do with the metal brackets. We don't care about those, and we don't need that. So let's just chuck some brackets in there, some gunpowder in here, and I think we're good to go. Oh, it would help if I clicked skip missing blocks. There we go. That's our first building blasted into existence. Now I just need to fill in all the gaps, which pretty much comprises of me going around and doing this in all the framed blocks where needed, adding in a few additional framed blocks because the schematic cannon just doesn't like these ones, and then doing the same thing on the roof. Although it would help if I put the right blocks in. But once all of this is done, we're going to have a nice empty shell that we can put another farm in. And then I've just got to do this another 8 times. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Well, I was right. It is indeed the next day. Look at this. We have 8 greenhouses. I've even marked out where some roads are going to go. And I've put 3 more over here. And hopefully that's going to be enough. And if we look at the whole area, that's looking pretty good. And I think what we're actually going to do is put in a storage building as well. Because, well, as I say, things over here aren't really reaching. But in saying that, I do need to make sure that the carrots from this first one can get over to the pigs. So what I've actually done, in fact, I can quickly remove all these. We don't need these. But what's actually happening now is everything's getting collected into its own system here. We have all the carrots going into this box. But then what we're doing, we fly over here. We're just dropping all of the carrots from this system into this system, which means they can actually get to the pigs. And that means we're now getting pork again, which is wonderful. But if all these carrots are going to pork, that means we are going to need another one of these greenhouses for carrots. And I've got a bunch of frames and loads of veg in my hotbar, which you've probably noticed. So let's work out which farms are going to go where. So this one is going to be the carrot one that's going to actually get stored over this side. Then we need potatoes, tomatoes, cabbage, beetroot, and onions, and all of these ones are going to have the same farm as this. They don't need to work any differently to that, so they're going to be pretty boring builds. I won't go into too much detail with you on those. I'll just show you when they're all shiny and nice and looking good, because it would actually be nice to theme the greenhouses a little bit around what they're actually growing. But then we still have a few other things we need to grow. So one of those is, well, 2 of those I should say, are pumpkins and melons, and that's going to have a different farm in here. We're going to need sugarcane, which won't need all these pipes, so we can rip those out. We're going to need rice, which once again won't need water pipes, and then we're going to do berries, and we're also going to do the sort of red berries that we get from spruce forests, but I don't actually have any of those yet, so we're going to have to go on a mission to find some of them. Building all of these is going to complete lots of stuff on the board and get us so much closer to actually being able to start building restaurants and making real food. So I guess it's time to crack on and get building, but as 6 of these farms are going to be the same as the carrot one, we'll just quickly blast through those, and I'll see you in a moment. longer than I care to admit later, we've now managed to get all of the basic farms in. So we've got another carrot farm, we've got potatoes, tomatoes, cabbage, we've got onions, and we've got beetroot. And of course, these all use the same style of farm. I still need to add some decoration in and around the buildings, of course, but we're definitely making some very good progress. Next up, we've got melons and pumpkins, but the first thing I want to do is a little bit of science. Do harvesters take down melons? No. Right. My guess would be it's because a melon is a full block, as is a pumpkin, and I thought that might be the case. But that's okay, that just means we're going to have to do this farm a little bit differently, and I think I've got an idea of how we could get it to work. Because if we, for example, had seeds there and there, then the melons and pumpkins are going to grow either there or... Let's grab the pumpkin. And then we can just have a contraption similar to that, but with drills on, that's only in sort of this lane and this lane. And in theory, it should just be able to come through, grab all of the pumpkins and melons, and then go back. And hopefully, because the drill's on a contraption, it should just collect the melons and pumpkins. At least that's my hope. So with that in mind, I guess this farm's going to start like any other, with a big hole down the middle. And what I want to do is just build up a little contraption and just see if it takes down that melon and pumpkin, and see if it collects it. And if that works, we know we can crack on. Right, we've got our drills, we've got our little minecart. Let's see if this works. But it's breaking them, and it hasn't left anything on the floor. That's a good sign. And everything's collected in here. Perfect. But apart from this small drill contraption, it's basically the same as all the other farms once again. So let's quickly get this finished, and then we can crack on with the more adventurous farms. And that is pumpkins and melons done. Once again, we do still need to add some details and decorations and whatnot, but at least this side of all the farms are done. We've just got 3 more to do over there. But for this one here, we do still need to go find ourselves some berry bushes. So I think it's time for an adventure. Now, to find berry bushes, we're going to need to find a spruce forest. And I'm sure I had a nature's compass around somewhere. And hopefully that'll point us in the right direction on this large biomes world. Otherwise, we could be flying forever. Well, I have no idea where that compass has gone. So I guess we're going to have to make a new one. But it's fairly straightforward. We just need 4 saplings, 4 logs, and a compass. So we'll just quickly make one of them. And if we do that, there we go, nature's compass. So I guess we just want a tiger. Let's see if there's one of these nearby. Aha, it's found one 7,500 blocks away, and it is in that direction. So let's make sure we're full up on lava and water and go get ourselves some berries. Well, it's taken literally all day. I mean, the sun's gone down, but look at this. We finally have some berries. When we were traveling that fast with our jetpack, the chunks barely had time to load. Oh, look at that. We've completed a quest chapter by picking up berries. Wonderful. Well, that was quite possibly the most boring adventure I've had in a long time. But the important thing is we've got our berries, and I suppose in this farm we don't really need to have the sprinkler systems because it's not really going to affect the berries. But I think I'm going to leave them in just because it's going to look better. At least on one side, because on the other side we're going to be doing glow berries. For those we need ceiling space. We definitely don't want sprinkler systems over that way. So I guess the first thing we need to do is to work out the contraption that's going to be going up and down the middle of this farm, because it's going to need to have different things on each side. So the side with the berries, we can just have harvesters there. The question is, what are we going to do on this side? So maybe we do something like this. Can we actually hang berries from those? So will this work? It will. Okay, cool. So on this side, we could just have a wall of harvesters like that, and we'll just have all the berries hanging down. I think that should look quite good. So now we have a plan. Let's just get this built up. A few minutes later, and that's the berry farms complete. So that should work just nicely. And once again, we don't actually need the water there, but it definitely looks better with it. And that just leaves 2 more greenhouses to go. One for sugarcane and one for rice. And yeah, neither of these actually need the watering things either. So I think I'm just going to completely remove them in these buildings. So first up, we're going to do the rice, and this should be fairly straightforward. But instead of sinking the rice down into the floor, I think I actually want to kind of raise it up a little bit. So if the rice is going to be in water here, the bit we need to trim is actually a block up. So I think this should work if we just cover up these bits here, get the top covered in. Then we just need a whole bunch of water to flood all of this bit. So it looks like I'm going to have to place these trapdoors back down afterwards. In fact, I don't think I'm sold on the trapdoors, so I'm actually going to use these blocks instead, and we'll just put something else in them. There we go, something like that maybe. Just feels a little bit more solid. So that's both tanks in, the harvesters are running nicely. Now we just need to plant a whole load of this. Sadly, I don't have enough to fill up all the tanks yet, so we're just going to bone meal a bunch. So it looks like harvesting rice this way is only giving us rice pinnacles and not actually rice, which means we're going to need to process this. which is something we will, of course, automate, but we're not going to automate that over here. For now, I just need more rice for my field. And that's the rice fields done. We just need to wait for it all to grow up, and then we should start getting all of the rice pinnacles. And as I say, we'll figure out how we're going to sort of turn that into actual rice later. But for now, at least we're producing. And that just leaves one farm left, which is sugarcane. And this one's going to be very simple. Basically going to dig out a nice big channel. In fact, we'll have 2 on each side, I think. We're going to fill these with water, of course, and just have 3 rows of sugarcane on each side. And once we've done that, we'll figure out the harvester. I've actually decided to swap out the growing area for sand, just because I think it looks a little bit better, and once we get all this as a path, it should look pretty good. But I've run out of sugarcane, so we're going to need to wait for the rest of that to grow. And in the meantime, let's get rid of all of this pipe. We don't need this. And then we'll figure out a harvester, which, to be honest, is probably going to be exactly the same as the rice one. Although, thinking about it, it might make sense to actually have 2 layers, because these can grow too tall. Then we're going to need harvesters in those positions, girders in the back like this, and we'll just have those come down here. That should do the trick nicely, although it would probably help if I actually put the rail in. Then we just need to set up storage, which we'll do down here. And I've just done all of these in the same way. As you can see, it sort of pulls up and then it just drops everything into a chute straight into the system, and currently I'm just storing them underneath the farms. I've done that for all of them so far, but we will build a central storage after we're finished with the farms. Certainly don't want to be coming down here to get stuff. Now storage is done, let's get this glued together, and hopefully that'll be the end of it for these farms. So I think I've got it all. Let's just test it out. Yep, look at that. Perfect. Now let's just tidy up a little bit. It's a bit better. Now we just need to wait for lots more sugarcane so we can replant. But the good news is that is now every single greenhouse with a farm inside, and we're producing lots and lots of stuff. In fact, let's go check the board and make ourselves feel good by ticking things off. So we've done potatoes and carrots. I'm going to need more dye because I didn't realise that was going to use it up. We've also done beetroot and onion. I don't know why onion's on there twice. Let's just remove that. We've done melon and pumpkin, lettuce and tomato. We've done sugarcane. We haven't done bamboo or cactus or glow lichen or vines or glowberries. That shouldn't really be on the same board either. So let's remove glowberries from there. We'll just have berries there to encompass all the berries, which we have done. Cocoa, which, I'll be honest, I completely forgot about. Kelp and apples we're going to be importing. And yeah, we haven't done mushrooms either. So not bad, not bad. It's certainly coming along. Still got a bunch more farms to make though.